You finally work up the courage to have a difficult conversation. You say what you need to say, and then they get defensive. And in that split second, everything in you wants to either fight back or shut down completely. So here's how to stay calm instead. So I've made videos about having difficult conversations, and the number one question I get is, but what do I do when they immediately get defensive? Because that's when it all falls apart, right? That's the moment where the conversation either deepens or explodes. And the answer isn't about controlling them. It's about managing what happens inside you when their defensiveness hits. So I'm going to share 3 realizations that completely changed how I handled this moment. And then I'll give you some practical, in the moment techniques that you can actually use. Realization 1. Their defensiveness is information, not attack. Okay, so the first realization, and this one took me years to understand. When someone gets defensive, they're telling you they feel threatened. That's all it is. I used to think defensiveness was them saying, you're wrong, or how dare you, or I don't care about your feelings. But that's not what's happening. What's actually happening is their nervous system just got activated. They feel exposed or criticised or unsafe, whether or not that was your intention. I'll never forget, I was giving feedback to someone on my team and I was being really careful, really kind. And they immediately said, well, you do that too, in this really sharp tone. And I felt myself bristling. My first thought was, this isn't about me, so why are you making it about me? But here's what I realised later. That wasn't them attacking me. That was them trying to level the playing field because they felt one down. They felt threatened. So the first thing to do when someone gets defensive, internally say to yourself, they feel threatened right now. This is about their safety, not about my message. That one thought, that mental reframe changes everything. Because now instead of defending yourself back, you can get curious about what made them feel unsafe. Realization number 2, you cannot out-logic defensiveness. Okay, so second realization, and this is the one I resist every time, even though I know it's true. When someone is defensive, their emotional brain is in charge, and you cannot reason with an emotional brain. You just can't. I have tried. We have all tried. They say, I didn't do that. And you want to lay out all the evidence. And then they say, but you're overreacting, and you want to explain very logically why your reaction is proportionate. But here's what happens. Every piece of logic you offer just feels like more attack to their nervous system. So they get more defensive. Someone really close to me got defensive during a conversation. And I really did make the mistake of trying to prove my point. I brought up examples. I explained my reasoning. I was so reasonable. And you know what happened? They exploded. Because I was basically saying, not only are you wrong, but here's 10 reasons why you're wrong. So even though that wasn't my intention, that's what happened. So here's what I do now instead, and it feels counterintuitive. When they get defensive, I stop trying to make my point. I know, but listen. You can't have a productive conversation with someone who's in fight or flight. You have to help them feel safe first, then return to the actual issue. Which brings me to my third realization. The goal is not agreement, it's regulation. Okay, the third realization, in that moment of defensiveness, your only job is to help both of you get regulated. That's it. Not to win, not to be understood, not to make your point, just to get both nervous systems calm enough that an actual conversation can happen. And this is hard because when they get defensive, you get activated. Your heart rate goes up, you feel that heat in your chest, your brain starts generating all the things that you want to say. And I still feel all of that every time. The difference is now I have techniques to manage it instead of just reacting from it. So let me give you the actual practical things I do in that moment. Okay, they just got defensive. Here's your menu of options. Technique 1, the pause and breath. Literally just stop talking, take a breath, count to 3 in your head, because this does 2 things. It gives you a second to get out of reaction mode. It breaks the escalating rhythm of the conversation. It might feel a little bit awkward, but do it anyway, because 3 seconds of silence is better than 3 words that you're going to regret. Technique 2, name what's happening without judgment. So you could say something like, I can see this is landing hard, or this feels like a difficult moment. I'm noticing we're both getting activated. Not you're being defensive, because that would definitely make it worse. Not calm down, because never in the history of humanity has that ever worked. Just name the temperature in the room. It weirdly helps both people take a breath. And technique 3, ask about their experience. This is my favourite, but it is hard to do when you're activated yourself. So you need to say something like, help me understand what you're feeling right now. Or what are you hearing me say? Because often their defensiveness is because they're hearing something completely different than what you actually meant. And asking them to tell you what they heard lets you find the disconnect. Technique 4, validate before you clarify. If they say, I can't believe you're bringing this up, or this isn't fair, resist the urge to defend your choice to bring it up. Instead, I hear that this feels unfair to you. Can you tell me more about that? You're not agreeing with them. You're just acknowledging their experience is real to them. Technique 5, physical grounding. This is for you, not for them. So you feel your feet on the floor. You notice your back against the chair. You breathe into your belly, not your chest. And I literally do this while they're talking because it keeps me from getting swept into their defensiveness. Technique 6, the strategic pause button if it's really escalating. It's okay to say, I think we're both pretty activated right now. Can we take a break and come back to this in 20 minutes, an hour, tomorrow, whatever works? This is not avoidance. This is wisdom. Some conversations need to happen in installments. Okay, the hardest part. Here's what nobody tells you about staying calm when someone gets defensive. You will not do it perfectly. You will still get activated sometimes. You'll still say things you wish you hadn't. The goal isn't to become some Zen master who never reacts. The goal is to catch yourself a little faster each time and have tools to come back to center. I have honestly completely failed at this too. Someone got defensive with me and I went right into defensive mode back. We spiraled. It was a mess. The difference is an hour later, I came back and said, look, I got defensive too. Can we try that again? That's what staying calm actually looks like. Not the perfect in the moment, just willing to repair and try again. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick one of those techniques, just one, and practice it this week, even in low stakes moments. So if someone gets mildly defensive about where to go for dinner, practice the pause and breath. A friend gets a little prickly, practice, help me understand what you're feeling. Because you can't learn this stuff in the heat of a big, difficult conversation. You have to build the muscle in smaller moments first. The next time you need to have a difficult conversation, You won't be perfect, but you'll have one tool that you would have practiced. That one tool might be the thing that keeps the conversation from going completely sideways. And honestly, that's enough. Drop a comment and tell me which technique you're going to try first. Just naming it helps you remember it. And if you haven't watched my video on what to do when a difficult conversation goes wrong, I'll link it. Because even with all of these techniques, sometimes it still goes sideways, and that is okay too. Take care of yourself, because this stuff is hard.